Hello, everyone. It is so good to be back, and I am so glad to be welcoming you back to the Advancement Center here in Santa Barbara. The elevated platform of living has gained altitude as more and more loving kindness was felt and experienced here. These past 2 weeks have been filled to the brim with the joy of our expanded family coming to visit and do magic. The grand finale was the magnificent wedding of Kathleen and Adrian on Saturday, October 12th. Everything about that day was perfection. It unfolded just as the bride had envisioned. Kathleen planned for every detail and had a myriad of packages shipped to our door, arriving every day for weeks. And the excitement just kept building. Kathleen and her sister arrived on Tuesday, Margie arrived from Austin, Texas, and Adrian arrived from Scotland with his sister on Wednesday. Thursday, the full complement arrived. Mickey in charge of all food, Vidi and David Jones trained down from Northern California, and Janice flew in from Oregon. Welcoming each person as they came, because they came with their gifts. Every day was filled with unpacking boxes, assembling light-filled balls to line the breezeway, screwing bulbs into garlands of lights, outlining the architecture of our home. And Mickey and her crew were at the heart of it all, preparing all the food that would serve 50 people, hors d'oeuvres, dinner, and dessert. Everything was scrumptious and served in a lovely rhythm by this happy, loving group. More laughter than has ever been heard before. Thursday evening, the florist boxes arrived, and Robert piled them on the extended table in the living room that was used for dinner from 9 to 14 people every night. At first, I thought Kathleen would love opening these, and then I decided to open the first box, which had a large label, "Open and put immediately into water." Of course, I grabbed every vase in the house, and we had an instant garden of white roses. A few may be hanging on back there. Meanwhile, Kelsey, Emily, and Bryce, Kathleen's children, were magically transforming our carport into an elegant dining hall. First, I found Robert up on the ladder, discerning the central point from which the blue tulle-wrapped strings of light went out to the four corners, with a giant star hung from due center. Twinkling lights everywhere. Friday, Kathleen's daughters, Amy and Mackenzie, her husband Joe, and their two daughters, Camila and Emmy, arrived, and the focus was on flowers. Bouquets, corsages, boutonnieres for the men, and each was wrapped in Adrian's tartan. All loose petals were saved for Emmy and Camila to cast before the bride as she walks down the breezeway. No sit-down dinner on Friday. The pizza was great. Now, on Friday, David captured the tone of this entire experience, and it is called harmony. And the wind is blowing. Okay. The title, once again, I am harmony. I exist inside each one of you, and therefore I exist when there are 2, 3, or an infinite amount of beings gathered together. Like a musical chord of 3 notes, I produce a sound and a feeling that is in line with the flow of all creation. Nothing can stop this flow. And when there is no resistance to the flow, you have me. The flow is a mysterious unknown. Many times you are not even aware that you are resisting it. I have planted my essence in you so that when life becomes too challenging, you can connect to that essence and return to me and find the peace and joy that you know always exists. The size and scope of a project and the number of people involved matters not. I am always with you and always accessible because I am in you. I am at peace when I am alone, but I gain my greatest satisfaction when I am connected to the many. Much like the sound that is created by 3 notes played together, or the feeling when 3 colors are blended, the awareness of me is magnified and my field enlarges exponentially. I am amazed by each unique sound and color that is expressed through the essence of each one of you. And I am happy and honored to be leading the way to a world that has never been felt before until now. A symphony with a resounding vibration from every world in every universe that will fill you with the most incredible joy that you can ever imagine. The beauty and immensity of this sound will bring tears to your eyes and will be so powerful in its magnificence that you will barely be able to stand. For in me is the perfection of the dance with the flow, and you have always been my partner. I am harmony. Thank you, David. The papers you hear flying are no longer necessary. So, okay. Now we came to the big day of the wedding. Preparations were as smooth as silk. Kathleen's talented daughter and niece tended to her makeup and hair. Back in our office, Adrian led David, his best man, Robert, and his new son, Bryce, in the art of wearing of the kilt. Adrian brought over from Scotland each man's outfit. That means jacket, kilt, sporran, high socks with very long laces, and shoes. Or was it the shoes with the long laces? I have to go look or ask Adrian. All measurements had been sent to Adrian. Adrian's gift to each man was a leather flask that fit into the sporran. Magic took place in that office as each man stood tall in his array, all so natural. There was a bond in that room. that was palpable. I shall never forget it. Unforgettable, too, was the bagpipe beginning the procession, with the two of us following and David just behind us, followed by Bryce and then Adrian. Each man wore their kilt proudly. The ceremony was amazing. Adrian waited for his bride, and together they walked to the altar where Robert was waiting to welcome them. Now I welcome Robert to join me. Hello.
Hi.
Did you enjoy reliving that day?
Yeah, I was gone. I was somewhere else. I wasn't expecting to appear on the screen in front of myself.
Yeah.
But it was brilliant. What you presented so far is a story that it overtakes everybody, and you can feel that you're there, not just in memory, but in the story. So that's well done.
Thank you.
So what are we going to talk about today?
Well, I didn't say anything about the level and the preciousness of what you said to Adrian and Kathleen. And I also didn't touch on the ritual of the binding of their hands. It wasn't called, is it fashing? I don't remember the name.
The binding.
It was binding is good.
Yeah.
And that's where Adrian had a special selected stone in his right hand.
Yeah.
And then Kathleen put her hand over his, and then it was tied by many beautiful bands of tartan, I think.
Yep.
And then each person came in and wrapped it a little bit more and said a blessing.
Yeah, with a cord.
With a cord, right.
Mm-hmm.
The magic didn't stop with the wedding. The magic stopped with the fact that Tim caught everything on video.
Yeah.
And the supreme magic was when you worked with the video and brought up the sound so that we could hear everything. Like everyone had a mic in front of them. And then you did even more. You made clips of the procession, and you made clips of the speeches, and of course the whole thing. I was so grateful because I sent the video of the procession. I just, in my memory, I still hear that bagpipe, and I get so excited. And then you and I followed him. Well, I sent that to my children.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, that bagpipe, I can't believe how powerful it was.
Yeah, the whole ceremony flowed perfectly.
Yeah.
And it was very, very obvious that everybody there was there for a purpose.
Yes.
They were representing their world and everything in it, and how the ceremony came together was really based on their presence.
Yes. Yeah.
I think every one of us felt something different as the world opened up to a new way of living.
Yeah.
And Kathleen and Adrian led the way.
Yeah.
So it was quite something. But you can
What
still
you
feel it.
said, pardon me, what you said was quite something. You spoke about not only this man and this woman coming together, you're talking about countries coming together and much more.
Yeah. Yeah, well, people will probably have to watch the video because I can't remember it all. But it was something that was fed to me early hours of the morning on the wedding day. As usual, right at the last minute. And it was quite difficult to get the words out because they meant so much to me, and I know they meant so much to everybody else. But the big thing is, it's still happening. It's a fluid system. It's moving all the time and expanding and changing and producing that something that we can't talk about in real sense, that we can talk about forever.
Yeah.
Without having any real description. But we know that the door was opened, as you said, and it wasn't a door that we knew about.
No.
It wasn't a door that closes your way to anything. It was a door that opened to the mysteries of living in this world. And each time we express something about the past, it changes form to be something that's happening now and in the future.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about now is not what was. We're talking about where it's taken us. And how wonderful a feeling it is to feel that sensation that you can't describe.
Mm.
Every word you use is perfect, but it's not limited to any word. It's a freedom of everything. And the unknown is prominent all the way through.
Yeah.
The ability we all have to change one another just with the blink of an eye is becoming a reality in every moment. And so it's quicker than a reflex action. It allows each one of us to look after one another continually without one gap.
Mm.
It's not based on even focusing on anyone or even thinking of anyone. It's based on the knowing that that's what you're here for. The impossible. Beyond everything and beyond technology. And even beyond where we expect to be. The repetitious signal that says it's too much or we can't do that, it's gradually disappearing.
Yeah.
It used to be on us 24 hours a day. Now it happens every now and then and you say, oh, that's no good. I can do better than that. And you just throw away the restriction. It still keeps coming back because it's like a spider web, it's tied to everything. And you release one part of the spider web and look the other way and it comes and sticks back again.
Mm-hmm.
But there is that big sweep that pushes you past where the spiderweb is. And you don't have to do it. You just look past it. And that's what Kathleen and Adrian made possible. With more than this, just the ceremony. With their getting together and still maintaining the highest values of all their existences right here now. So it's very obvious to everyone that we are much more than even we can imagine.
Yes.
And living with that is what it's all about. Without having to prove anything to anybody, you can change your vibration to anything you want. You can change how you present in the world without having to think about it. And that's really the key to it. If you don't think about it, it works by itself. And we're often flying. We didn't have to get an aeroplane.
No.
So many of the feelings that we have are actually presenting themselves in the world to be lived without any standard that we know, just the one that has no position in the physical world. It's a standard beyond all standards, with honour and respect, that goes past what we've been taught. And this is growing very quickly, surpassing anything I can speak about. And building inside people, around people, in the interactions, and even in our ability to see what's actually in front of us. Even though somebody's waving a big flag saying, look at this, look at this.
Yeah.
There's actually something available to us that we hadn't been seeing before. That improves every day.
Yeah.
And like I keep saying, and there's more.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Every time you speak, you open up so many more available pictures that are not here in the physical.
Yeah, and just to confirm a little thing that we've already spoken about, Simeon's sitting in the background saying that it's time for him to speak again.
Yes.
So we're not sure how that will happen, but you'll have access to more than I can give you once again, so that the depth of our visitation, if you like, in the world of your Creator will become amazingly enormous. So I'm looking forward to that, and I can feel Simeon ready to do what he has to do, but I won't know until the actual moment when we have to add him into the scene.
Yes. What an amazing gift you bring. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so now I'll hand it back to you so that you can finish off properly,
Okay.
and I'll get off the screen.
Oh, all right.
Okay. See you.
Okay. Because, oh, the promise of Simeon speaking again is thrilling. And so is this writing by David. Because I could say that the promise of Simeon is perfection. And David is writing about fluid of perfection. When he read this on Friday, I heard the first sentence and I was gone. Here we go. Fluid of perfection. We are swimming in our field of amniotic fluid. Our umbilical cord is attached to the self that is sitting in its origin at the right hand of your Creator. All the necessary nutrients for our growth and development are being provided through this cord and through channels that are far too numerous to mention. Knowing this, our survival has never been a focus, and therefore the concept of need ceases to exist. Our field and the fluid that resides within is massive. It expands far beyond what we can see and understand. Floating within this field, in this fluid of perfection, we can experience the flow of all creation. Just like the child in the womb, there is a buoyancy that produces a feeling of lightness, a sense of being above it all. Our world of magic and miracles lies within this bubble, with trees, animals, beautiful flowers, and multi-dimensional beings that we are connected to, and feel yourself floating within your field and its amniotic fluid, gliding throughout all space and time, arriving here on this planet for a short visit before returning to your origin or some other place throughout the galaxy and beyond. There is a great feeling of peace and adventure as you hover above all that exists outside of your field. Look down and look around at all the pieces and parts that exist outside your world that help form all the beauty that you are. As you look, you are reminded that you have no war with any of the chaos that has been created and allowed to exist to bring balance and harmony to all that you are looking at. And as a smile comes over your face, that smile of recognition of the infinitesimal world that is appearing in your magnificent, unlimited field, you can feel all the worries of all humanity falling away in the truth and grandeur of your amazing existence. Add now, and now we take another step forward where we will live in our true field, in our fluid of perfection above it all, even as we include it all. Fluid of perfection. Thank you, David. What a lovely visit. And to quote Robert, and there is more. And until next time, we here at the Advancement Center are wishing you a perfect life, perfect health, and an extremely magic future. Thank you.